What's up, guys?
What's going on? We are in Atlanta, in the city right now.
Heart of the city. And when you go to cool areas, they have flotation labs. We'll get to that in a minute though. But today, full day of eating like Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan style.
Heard of him?
Do it like this. I've been on the ground like this, like this, like this. Do you like this? Don't nobody do you like this, like this, like this. This is my shit. You be like, this about as good as it gets. Do it like this. Do it like, do it like, do it like.
All right, guys, we are in Atlanta. We're outside of Float 2.0. Is that what it's called? It's a flotation tank therapy center. And we've always wanted to do it, but we thought today was the perfect day because Joe Rogan does it. Why not give it a go? There's 90-minute sessions though, so that's super long. I don't know how long Joe does it, but we're going hard the first time around. I'm doing the Oasis tank. Matt's doing like the cave chamber or something. So here we are.
Like, things are different where this time go. You been tripping, baby, I know. It's a cold world out there. You been missing our convos. I cannot lie, I'm feeling great. The pen is working in my head on straight. Top 10 when I ventilate. Y'all just bullshitting.
What'd you think?
So
Don't tell me yet. What is this? There's underwear here. There's underwear on our door.
I don't want to walk around with wet undies.
Okay.
So I was in there for probably like 60 minutes. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't lay still. I wasn't relaxing. I couldn't even keep my eyes closed. Salt water was bothering me. I started to get a headache and super dehydrated, which is why I got out.
All that.
I came out.
So you're floating in a bath of water, and
Salt
I think
water.
there's magnesium and sodium. It's like Epsom salt.
Yeah.
Your body weight is like really easily suspended in the water. The idea, and the water is 94 degrees, same temperature as your skin. The idea is to deprive your body of as many senses as possible. So you have earplugs in, it's completely dark, you can't feel, no sense of feel, so it's just you and your mind.
I took my shower, took an extra long shower because I knew I had time, came out, explained the situation to the woman, and she was just like giving me this like tone like, no, that's never happened before. I was like, have you been in that tank specifically? She's like, I've been in all the tanks, like no one's ever had this problem. And then she walks around back, she comes back and she's like, oh, I'm gonna comp you, I left the filter on. So I was,
what?
I didn't even get the experience. I was in a jacuzzi. It was just very uncomfortable and a terrible experience and like a waste of time.
Yeah.
So I got an espresso and luckily I found Topo Chico Lime to make me feel better.
To make you feel a little better. Also, I would say I didn't really like it much at all.
Were you at least
I was
be able to
suspended.
lay still?
I didn't ever really get into like a deep meditation. Like sometimes I meditate for 15 minutes and I would say I like that better than 90 minutes of this. And it was 90 minutes, so it's like really long.
Did it feel like time went by fast or slow?
When the music started to signify the end of 90 minutes, you could, if that was 15 minutes, I would have believed you. Like I didn't really have any.
That's cool though,
perception
right?
of
So time is just like not existent.
But I was wanting it to be 90 minutes. Like as soon as the music started, I was like, okay, good. I'm happy. That's,
yeah. So she only charged us for one person.
I don't want to do it
I'm
again.
probably
really.
not gonna come back.
So I'd say like cryotherapy is one thing we've tried. This is another thing we've tried. They're kind of like same category. They're pretty expensive, similarly priced.
I would do cryotherapy hands down.
I agree. I would prefer cryotherapy.
I prefer like a cryotherapy's 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The music's playing, I'm going, I'm moving. But she did say what was interesting. She's never heard of Joe Rogan, she was like, who is that? And I tried to explain it. She was like, yeah, 90% of people that come in here say Joe Rogan, and I've never heard of him.
Yeah, well, this whole industry started after he started talking about it, yeah. One of Joe Rogan's rules is he only eats meat that he hunts. And he eats a lot of elk, so we don't hunt. I've gone hunting with my dad a few times, never actually got something. Have you ever hunted?
No.
But we got this, it's from RuNutrition.com, it's elk. So we got 1 pound of ground elk. Have we tried elk before?
No.
We're gonna try this, Alpha Brain. This is like a nootropic Joe takes most days, I think. I'll see how much it helps me focus.
Steps update, I'm at 2,300.
Taste test.
Ooh, I like that. It comes on strong at the end, but it's like a really light flavor. Yeah, I could drink this for sure every day.
Okay, so here's what I got. 6 ounces of ground elk, just like lightly seasoned. I got 4 eggs, cooked sunny side up, half an avocado, and about, 3 ounces of blackberries. And then here's Mega's. She has 3 ounces of blackberries, half an avocado, 3 ounces of elk, and 2 eggs. First things first, how do you feel about Joe Rogan?
I like him. Listening to his podcast, he's funny, but he's very just like staunch in his beliefs, I think.
I would say he's pretty open-minded.
From what I know, he seems very just like regimented and strict and like knows what he thinks is best and does just that.
Few people have had a bigger influence on my life than Joe Rogan. Basically, I started listening to his podcast when I was like 21. I'm almost 30 now. I guess I started more like self-improvement based on what he was talking about a lot. So it might sound dumb to a lot of you, but I think there's a lot of people my age that were like heavily influenced by his podcast. I'd say he's a pretty positive influence overall.
He's played zero influence in my life though.
Yeah.
So that's why like my thoughts are not as valid, I would say, even as yours, because you know him. I
consider him a friend even though I've never met him.
I don't know him.
So he has chickens in his backyard, so we're doing 4 eggs. They're not actually from chickens in our backyard.
He just farted.
Did he?
Yeah, we're holding food here, bro. Back the farts up.
They're from pasture-raised chickens, like at the grocery store, you know, like
Those-
Vital Farms or whatever.
Yeah, and those look fire. You cook them like so crispy and perfect.
I've been cooking them like this more because the
You don't-
whites, you actually get more of the proteins when the whites are cooked, and you get more of the nutrients in the eggs when the yolks are raw or like close to raw.
Is that true?
Yeah. And then we got elk here, and I did cook it, I think pretty rare.
Are you gonna try it?
Yeah. So a cool thing Joe Rogan does is he only eats meat that he's actually hunted and killed with his bow.
Pretty indistinguishable from our burger.
Yeah, it's just a little leaner, slightly tougher, I would say.
It's really good.
I like it.
It's like a burger.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be famous. I'm calling the shots. So
Blackberries taste like candy.
Blackberries taste like candy. So 3 ounces?
Not even like
That's
5 carbs.
About 4 carbs, yeah.
Yeah.
4 net carbs.
That was a low-fat meal.
Yeah, so overall in that meal, it was probably like 40 grams of fat, kind of low. And just like the general premise of Joe's diet, I guess we didn't go into, he does mostly keto. Mm-hmm. He definitely takes some liberties though. I don't think he's doing keto and like constantly testing and making sure he's in ketosis 100% of the time.
But he does like whole foods, I would say, even.
Yeah.
Keto whole foods, so like game meat, some berries, veggies. That meal just wasn't as filling.
I know.
Because
I'm kind of feeling that too.
I'm like a little hungry. Or maybe it was the berries out there. I just don't like eat berries all day.
One last thing. We forgot to mention we had Bulletproof Coffee this morning. Joe does that, I think, most days. And also, it's
Yeah.
pretty hard to like figure out what he eats every day because he doesn't really say. I'm just like gathered what I've heard on the podcast. I looked up some articles. No one really knows. And I looked at his Instagram. It's mostly meat with like a little side of veggies. So it's 3 p.m. We had our first meal, what, like 1? Now I'm having like a big glass of bone broth here. We had this in the fridge. I want to say the bone broth had about like 2 tablespoons worth of beef fat, and then the rest of it was just the broth. I want to say I was actually noticeably less full after the Joe Rogan breakfast.
Yeah, I agreed. I was less full, and I mentioned that as soon as the meal was over, because usually I'm like really full right after I eat a meal. So I had half a serving of pili nuts. Up. Spin.
Oh,
Spin. Spin.
he's so good at spinning now.
Yes.
We have a New York strip elk and a New York strip bison and an excited Julius.
Elk looks better.
Oh, does it? I think the bison looks better. It has a nice fat cap on the side.
Well, this feels very hearty.
Here's what we got going for dinner. We got, what are these called?
Not broccolini, they're
Some kind of baby broccoli.
broccolettes.
Broccolette. It was on sale at Whole Foods, so I grabbed that. And then over here, we got this one is the elk. This one is the bison. And then I got some shallots, butter, and garlic. And I'm gonna season with salt and pepper. Pretty basic. We're gonna cook the broccoli afterwards, where all the fat kind of renders off the meat, even though they're not that fatty.
But there was some fat in the pan from yesterday, right?
This morning. Coming at you with dinner, and I'm feeling, so about what's that thing we tried?
Nootropic?
Yeah, it's Alpha Brain. I want to say like mild effects from it. I
So
felt
it's
a little
my
focused.
on it. Did you say that?
I would say if you see it at Whole Foods, $2.50 I think it was. Give it a try.
Yeah.
See if you like it.
For a second, I thought I really felt something. Like I felt like tingling in my back, and I was like hyper focused for like a second. It kind of just went away. So I'm not sure like if it was like I had drank an espresso before. Like I don't know what was happening.
Okay, so we have dinner here. This is the
Elk, and that's the bison.
yeah. Okay.
And then we have the broccoli, as you saw, with mushrooms, shallots, garlic.
Total cost for a Joe Rogan day of eating. Not necessarily every day, but today, everything we ate, $34 per person. But when Joe's doing it, I mean, he's not paying for the meat, which was about, I think, $17 worth of the cost. So, and he's also not paying for an eggs. He's not paying. He's probably not paying for anything. Like, he's not paying for Alpha Brain either.
One thing we do also want to touch on that Joe partakes in a lot is smoking weed. So apparently he's like a high functioning weed smoker because he like smokes a lot, but then is also just like super productive. Yeah. So that's really cool. Like, he's using it not recreationally or like to relax. He's using it to like caffeine. He's using it as a tool. Most
people went thinking like, hey, I'm going to smoke weed and I'm just going to like write a 16-bar verse that's going to blow people's mind.
Or
like, that's
write like a book or paint a painting or write a research paper, whatever.
And a lot of people ask like the interactions with THC and keto. No, it doesn't really affect
interaction,
much.
Right?
I have never read anything that it interacts at all. But I thought it would be a decent time to talk about my drug use. I don't even like saying drug use, since I guess I never have talked about this on our channel. I was pretty much like a square up until I was graduated college, moved to San Francisco. Then I started smoking weed every day, every single day. Wake and bake, basically, unless I had to go to work. Weekends were wake and bake. During the week, I was a square until, honestly, like as soon as I got home, I would smoke weed.
I can attest to that because I dated him for like 6 months out of our relationship. He was really just getting after it. Like, I don't know, just a hardcore weed smoker. Oh my God.
Cute.
Oh my God. He's just ripping apart this fluffy winter blanket we have, and there's just like stuff out of his mouth.
I would have to say, on the whole, positive impact on my life, but I do think it can definitely, I would have considered myself at one point an addict, like to where I couldn't stop if I wanted to, which isn't good.
I walked into his life though, and then he realized there's more to life than just smoking weed. I've never been like super into weed. I smoked it. But I think a positive that came out of it were the times I did enjoy it with Matt. You know, smoke, eat a big bowl of popcorn. So this was pre-keto, and like watch shows and then like, you know, laugh and goof around. So that was the only positive. But aside from that, I'm not like a productive person on it.
No, not at all productive.
I've seen it more negative in those situations than a positive. Like Joe Rogan obviously is Joe Rogan.
Yeah. So I would say he wouldn't be who he is without it, but I think that's the exception, not the rule. Current relationship, I'd say I partake maybe once a week to relax at night.
I'm going to be straightforward. I feel like we don't really have that many big stresses in our life. So like for me, smoking weed made me more stressed about things. But like now that I have like the best pets and I have my soulmate and elk in front of me, like, you know, life is very relaxed and chill.
I wanted to go over the 10 tenets of Joe Rogan's life. Be the hero of your own movie. Be the best version of yourself.
I like that.
Here's actually a cool perspective change that I've heard in the past and I apply it to my life now that really helps me is like, say one of your goals in life is to be a millionaire. You can't just be a millionaire, you have to become the person that's capable of being a millionaire. Through self-development, through self-improvement, that's what makes you a millionaire. It's not just like, you know, got to make a few tactical business moves. You have to be the person that's capable of making a few tactical business moves. Stop making excuses. I love that. We're so full of excuses, man. You have to be fully accountable for everything that happens in your life. You get divorced, it's not your wife's fault, it's your fault. Everything is your fault.
I mean, whether it is in reality your fault or not always, if you use that perspective, like this is my fault, then it's just going to push you to be the best version of yourself. I think all these rules will probably play into each other, but yeah.
Take it to the extreme. Your wife cheated on you. It's not her fault. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Extreme ownership.
Really analyze that.
Explore difficult tasks. Push forward.
There's going to be a lot of setbacks in life. Today you're going to have a shitty day because your boss fires you, then you're going to get home and your wife's going to complain to you about like the kids and dinner. But push forward. Look at his mouth.
Oh, he has the fur in his...
This is our dog. Oh, so cute.
Work towards something. A decent percentage of people just go through the motions. They don't know what they're working towards, like an abstract concept of retirement, get married, have kids, like
put on more muscle.
Yeah, none of that stuff is really clearly defined. And I think when you have it well defined, honestly, like I read a book recently, it's called The Perfect Day Formula. Pretty good read. Writing 5 years in the future, a day in your life, like very almost like fictional, you know, but then you will it into reality.
Have you written yours?
I haven't yet. I've been putting this off for so long. Like I woke up today, I have a wife, my 3 beautiful kids, I hopped into my Porsche, you know, like that type of thing. Just write out what you want to become real. Focus on improving. They're all kind of the same sentiment.
Just written differently, but they're all little parts of the whole.
Don't get stuck in life.
I've been stuck in my own personal just like cycle of like thoughts and like patterns, and it's like hard to break those things. But like if you are just able to like sit down and analyze what's going on, why it could be going on, you're able to, what's the rule?
Don't get stuck in life.
You're able to unstick.
Spend time in nature. We suck at this.
So that's not on my list.
I think it should be though.
I'm far from nature.
What we have been doing lately, because you got to get some sunlight. Some days I literally don't leave the house, only to drive to the gym.
I've been doing 3 to 4 walks a day because of my steps. So a Fitbit's allowed me to get more with nature.
And number 10, pursue your desires.
Mine is to have little Mats and Megas running around, and we are currently pursuing that.
Yeah.
It could be something as small as find the best show on Netflix. Every night, if you watch one episode of one new show, you're pursuing that.
Yeah, let us know what you guys come up with.
Yeah.
We're looking for ideas.
We always need shows, guys.
We're on Tornado Hunters right now.
Which is really good, though.
Just a lot tougher.
The elk is good, but very underwhelming in flavor.
This one's pretty good. I like this.
No flavor, almost.
So the elk is way more tender. This is probably more flavorful. The
Bison's better overall, I think.
But yeah, this has been a full day of Joe Rogan eating. Comment below with anyone else you want us to try doing days of eating of.
Rhonda Patrick, probably.
Dave Asprey.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, who else is good? And it has to be like relatively low carb, I think,
So not Dwayne Johnson.
to do it. We could do a Dwayne Johnson cheat day.
I would be hospitalized.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.